Everyone makes mistakes, but not everyone replays them for hours or days. You say something awkward, miss an opportunity, choose wrong. The moment ends, but your mind stays there, replaying how it should have gone. This isn't weakness. Overanalyzing mistakes happens when the brain treats errors not as events, but as signals about identity. A mistake stops being something you did and becomes something you are. Did this show I'm incompetent? Did they lose respect? Does this prove I'm not good enough? The analysis shifts from the event to self-worth. Humans evolved to learn strongly from errors, especially social ones. In early groups, mistakes risked rejection, so the brain became highly sensitive to missteps. Today, most errors carry little danger, but the nervous system still reacts as if they do. Embarrassment and regret push attention back to the memory. Normally, the brain learns and moves on, but sometimes the system overfires. Instead of extracting a lesson once, the mind keeps scanning the event, searching for certainty. How bad was it? What did they think? What does this say about me? These questions have no stable answers, so analysis never ends. Perfectionism amplifies this. When your standards are very high, small errors feel large, not because of consequences, but because they violate your self-image. I should have known. I shouldn't make mistakes. The word should creates a gap between reality and expectation. The brain treats that gap as a problem, so it replays. Social sensitivity strengthens the loop. Some people constantly simulate how they're perceived. After a mistake, this simulation intensifies. You don't just remember what happened, you imagine how it looked. Faces, silence, judgments, often exaggerated, but emotionally vivid. Negative memory bias adds distortion. You forget dozens of neutral moments, but remember one awkward one. Over time, it feels like, I always mess up. Rumination also drives overanalysis. It feels like problem solving, but usually it's looping without closure. True learning extracts a principle and ends. Rumination revisits without resolution because the brain wants reassurance that you're still acceptable and competent. Memory can't provide that, so the loop continues. Identity makes it stronger. If self-worth depends on performance, mistakes threaten stability. The mind tries to repair self-image by dissecting the event. But repeated analysis makes the memory more central, not less. Counterfactual thinking adds regret. The brain simulates better versions of the past, what you should have said or done. The gap between imagined and real intensifies discomfort. The past can't change, yet the brain keeps simulating. This pattern is common in conscientious, self-aware people. Caring about growth increases self-monitoring, useful until it becomes self-threat. Then, learning turns into self-criticism. Shame intensifies loops most. Guilt says, I did wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. When identity feels threatened, attention returns again and again. Ironically, excessive analysis rarely prevents future mistakes. Too much self-monitoring during action can even impair performance. More mistakes then create more analysis a cycle. Breaking it isn't ignoring errors. It's changing how they're processed. Healthy learning has 3 steps: notice, extract, release. Overanalysis repeats the first step endlessly. A key shift is separating behavior from identity. You did something imperfect. That doesn't define you. The brain needs this boundary to stop threat signaling. Another shift is tolerating uncertainty. Not every mistake has a clear cause or fix. Accepting partial ambiguity allows closure. Self-compassion also matters. When mistakes don't threaten belonging internally, the brain doesn't need to reevaluate worth. Research shows self-compassion reduces rumination. You can be fallible and still acceptable. Also, others remember far less about your mistakes than you do. Their attention is on themselves. The impact you imagine is usually inflated. Your mind is the main audience. And the deepest point, overanalyzing mistakes often means you care attaching importance to growth, competence, and others' perception. The mechanism is miscalibrated care, not failure. When this becomes clear, the tone shifts. A mistake becomes information, not verdict. A moment, not identity. A data point, not definition. You still learn, but you also move on. Because growth requires forward motion, not living inside yesterday.